Do you think that's some male pattern baldness starting to creep in there? I'm not sure. Anyway, it's been 5 weeks since my surgery, and so this is my 5 week update. I will say that as a person with chronic illness, I do think I'm healing a little bit less rapidly than what I presume other people do when they have top surgery. And also keep in mind, I had more than just top surgery. I had the liposuction and the torso masculine. Geez, I can never say that word. Torso masculinization. Um, so that is kind of contributing to my healing process. Like, it's still hard for me to bend over all the way because my abdomen is still really tender in a lot of places. I can still feel like lumps under my skin from like the cannula for the liposuction. And although there's no bruising on the surface, it still does feel bruised kind of internally everywhere. Um, so it's only been the last 2 nights of sleeping that I've actually been able to roll over on either one of my sides and sleep on my side. And it, even though I can do it, it takes a lot of effort to kind of get into that position. Um, and it's not super comfortable. So um, my progress is kind of slow on that front. But I am making gains in other areas. So my scar is doing pretty well in most places. The scab is off for the most part, but there's actually a new stitch abscess that I just found today. So I feel like that's going to be something that maybe keeps happening. I have actually read of people who have noticed that happening like a couple months down the road that a stitch will come out still. So I think that's pretty normal. But I am just managing a couple of areas on my incision where there's a little bit of an infection. So my skin is also really sensitive to adhesive, and so I had been covering those infectious spots with uh, like antibiotic ointment and then a band-aid, but my skin was really not having the band-aid anymore. It was getting really irritated and red, and the skin was coming off in a couple of spots. So basically, I've just been covering the whole incision with Aquaphor ointment. Um, and I've been trying to figure out how to do the silicone gel and like actually keep it on my skin without it kind of coming off on my clothes, or like it's really hard in the area under my arm because my arm is in the way. So it's been a little bit of learning curve trying to manage how to do the scar care for my particular scar. Um, yeah, I think everything is pretty much on track, but I'm still really tired. Like, it takes a lot for me to do physical stuff. So like I took a shower today and I'm exhausted from that process. I have graduated to being able to do, like, I can do dishes and make myself small meals. I can't really cook because I can't chop things still because my I just don't have the strength or the mobility for that yet. But I am doing more around the house, but I'm still pretty dependent. So I would say, just to keep that in mind, like, luckily I have a wife who helps with that stuff. Um, but if you're somebody that lives alone, that's just something to keep in mind for your own recovery. Like, you might need help um, more than a couple weeks out, because I'm a month out at this point, over a month out at this point. Um, it's also my 6 month anniversary on testosterone, which is pretty exciting. So that happened just the other day, on Earth Day, actually. I think. Anyway, I still do have a cough from like being under anesthesia. Also, it kind of appears out of nowhere once in a while. Um, and the physical therapy that I've been doing, it does feel good to stretch out my torso. Um, I had gone through the whole routine of exercises a couple of days ago, and it really aggravated. So, in one of my previous videos, I talked about this spot that's kind of like on my ribs, just below my left nipple. It was really, really painful right out of the gate post surgery. And it seems to be fine as long as I'm not really moving or like activating my core at all. But the exercises that I have to do for PT, something about the arm movements aggravated it. And so that's been a little bit inflamed and like hard to work around with the PT. So I have to figure out something else how to do those exercises. So I think that's it. Um, yeah. Hope everybody's having an okay week.